One of the key insights that led me to score a 175 on my official LSAT was recognizing that I was actually choosing the best of the worst in the most difficult questions. For those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally raised my LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. In many cases, in fact, in most cases, the correct answer seems correct and is objectively correct. This was especially the case on logic games. Sadly, they are no longer on the test, and so we've got to instead parse the seemingly ambiguous language in logical reasoning and reading comprehension. No more mathematically clear logic games questions that we're going to derive the answers with using diagrams. Now, in logical reasoning, personally, I will flag at least 3 or 4 questions, skip them, come back to them later after I have completed the section. And I have my candidates for which ones I like to skip. I like to skip lengthy, difficult parallel reasoning questions. I like to skip hard science technical questions. I like to skip questions involving abstract, formal philosophy-style language. Now, when I am evaluating those difficult questions on my second pass, when I come back to them, I'm working, of course, by elimination, and whatever remains is typically going to be the best of the worst, meaning I'm not going to love the wording of that choice. In fact, I may not even understand what that choice is saying. But the nice thing about a multiple choice exam like the LSAT is that, of course, the answer is right in front of you. You just got to pick it. So this is not about writing out some short answer. You're not free writing. You're not doing an essay. You don't need the answer to come out of your head. You just need to be able to spot the correct answer when you see it, or even better, you need to be able to knock out the 4 answer choices that are clearly wrong. So if the question is, say, a flaw question in logical reasoning, the wrong answers are wrong simply because they accuse the argument of a crime that it has not committed. It would, of course, have been bad for the argument to commit that crime if, in fact, it had committed that crime. But if we know the argument is not guilty of that crime, meaning it's not guilty of having committed that flaw, then we can knock it out. And then whatever remains, even if we're not sure how to interpret it, even if we don't know exactly what it means, we still have to pick it simply because, by elimination, that is all that remains. And the funny thing about the LSAT is that, of course, unlike your math class in high school, you do not need to show your work. You don't need to show how you derived the correct answer. You simply need to bubble it in on the LSAT, on the online platform. That's it. They're not even going to see what you eliminated. They're not going to know if you were down to 2 choices and you guessed and got lucky, but it could have gone the other way. Of course, when you are practicing, when you're taking practice tests, when you're taking individual sections, when you're drilling questions by type, it is incredibly important to review your mistakes and to review the ones that you guessed on and got lucky, because, of course, next time it could go the other way. But on test day itself, one you guess on and get lucky counts as 1 raw score point, just as one you thoroughly understood also is 1 raw score point. And so if you can get good at process of elimination, if you can get over your doubts and get over your discomfort with choosing an answer choice that you don't understand, you can pick it and get that question right. And I've gotten more questions right than I deserve to get right in many cases, because I got over that discomfort. I got over my doubts about not understanding what I was choosing. And I just said to myself, you know what? I don't even know what this is saying, especially in some of those technical hard science cases when the time constraint is preventing me from evaluating it as thoroughly as I would like. I pick that choice, I move on, and I lock up those points, even if I didn't thoroughly deserve it. And that's the funny thing about the LSAT. That's the funny thing about getting a top score on the LSAT, is that ultimately it comes down to bubbling in the right answer, however you get there. And so I want to encourage you here, do not eliminate choices just because you don't know what they mean. That is not a valid way to evaluate answer choices on the LSAT or on any other standardized test for that matter. The fact that you don't understand what it is saying has no bearing at all on whether it is correct or not. It just means you don't know what it says. But if you can instead leave that one aside, evaluate the others instead, work by elimination and knock them out, and then if all that's left is that one choice you didn't know what it said, you pick it, move on, secure that point, and that's the end of the deal. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. I hope you found this video helpful, and in the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.